different manufacturing and different service type environments, right? Now, product costing methods can be split into two categories. One is called specific order costing, and the other one is called continuous operation costing. Now, specific order costing can be split into two subcategories. We have job costing and we have batch costing. All right, job and batch costing, I will explain this one by one. And continuous operation costing, we will look at process costing, something which I hope to start on when I see you on Wednesday, day after tomorrow. And of course, also service costing. Today, I'm going to cover job and batch costing, yeah? And then later on Wednesday, we will look at process costing, service costing, and later on next week, I will also be covering another topic called activity-based costing, all right? Now, the key point in product costing methods is the learning outcome, all right? What do we hope to learn here? All right, learning outcome, all right? It is the study of how the cost of products and services are to be determined. All right, study of how the cost of products and services are to be determined, comma, under different business environments. Yeah. So how the cost of products and services are to be determined. Now, in all business environment, be it manufacturing or be it services, a common question that managers ask is, how much does it cost for me to make a product, or how much does it cost to deliver a service? All right, this is a common question. Now, from this question comes another question, which is, why do we want to know the cost of products and services? All right. Now, the reason why I'm asking all this, even before we go into our notes, we'll go into our notes shortly, right? But even before we go into the notes, you need to understand the rationale, the reason why we are studying this, okay? In costing and in anything you study in a business environment, there's always a logic, there's always a reason why you're studying something, all right? The reason why we're studying something is not because it's going to come up for the exam. You know, that's secondary. Something might be tested, something might not be tested, we don't know, right? Yeah. But importantly, we are here to learn. And from a business point of view, what we are trying to learn here, the learning outcome is, how do we determine the cost of products and services? Now, of course, right, before we go into how, we have to ask the question, why? Why are we doing this? Why we are learning this, all right? Now, I've always believed that if you can answer the question, why we're doing it, if you can answer that question, then the how becomes easy. The how is not difficult. It is the why that's often the most complicated. Why are we doing this, right? Now, so why do you want to know the cost of products and services? There are many reasons why we want to do this, right? The most obvious is deriving cost is necessary for inventory valuation. We want to know how much does it cost, right? Simply because for inventory valuation purposes, this ties in with financial reporting requirements. All right. This is the part where costing, all right, costing links up with financial reporting. There are different fields of study, but there are certain areas where they overlap, and costing is one area where they overlap. You understand what I'm saying, right? Now, the key point about deriving costs is simple, right? At the end of any accounting period, right, we need to put a value on inventory, all right? So often the auditors will check and see how we got the valuation and whether the valuation is fair. Please understand that closing inventory valuation has a direct impact on reported profits. If your inventory value is very high, right, then actually your profit will go up. If inventory value is very low, profit will fall, closing inventory, yeah? So often the auditors will check the reasonableness of the valuation process to derive the inventory value. That's something all auditors will check. Now, again, I repeat, we're not doing audit right now, and we're not doing financial reporting, we're doing costing. But I'm trying to explain to you how costing connects with financial reporting, how they overlap. And this is one area, deriving costs necessary for inventory valuation, right? That's one. Next, cost is needed to determine the price of a product and to determine if the product is profitable. At a very simple level, all managers want the price of the product to exceed costs. All right. Don't forget, you make a profit when price exceeds costs. Of course, the definition of cost is a bit more complex. Is it variable cost? Do we include fixed costs? Do we absorb overheads, etc.? That's a different topic. But at a very basic level, every business owner, every manager in a company wants to ask the question, when do we earn a profit? And we earn a profit when price exceeds cost, correct? And therefore, getting an accurate cost valuation is essential for us to determine, are we actually earning a profit? Can you follow what I'm saying, right? Cost determine the price of product, determine if the product is profitable, and cost is needed to ascertain if the business can be competitive, right? An interesting talking point, yeah? When you're in a competitive business environment, right? When you're in a competitive business environment, what you will face is you'll face a situation where there's likely to be price wars going on, right? No industry is entirely free of competition. There are some industries that are quite monopolistic, but these are very rare, right? To give you a Malaysian example, let's say you want to buy electricity. Who do you buy electricity from? Answer, Tenaga Nasional. You have no choice. So Tenaga Nasional is a monopoly, right? So because Tenaga Nasional is a monopoly, theoretically, they can charge whatever price they like. And if the price goes up tomorrow, you have no choice but to pay the price. But that's why there are government departments that seeks to regulate Tenaga Nasional and similar types of monopolies. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? All right. But on the other hand, if you look at any other business, all right, there's always going to be some form of competition. I mean, if you walk into a supermarket and you want to buy, for example, a bottle of instant coffee, all right, there is Nescafe, but there are also many other brands. All right, if you want to buy anything, you want to buy detergent, there's so many different brands on the shelf. You want to buy toothpaste, there's so many different brands. Yeah. So there's competition. In a competitive industry, every manager is often thinking about the same problem. And that problem is, if I reduce my price, can I get higher sales volume? All right. Now, ability to reduce price depends on whether you have a cost advantage. All right. Let's use our common sense here. If I have a lower cost than my competitor, then obviously I can try to bring down my price. All right. And even though I drop my price, I will still be profitable because competitors' cost structure is higher. You get that thought process here. All right. So cost needed to ascertain if the business can be competitive. For example, if a company wants to engage in a price war. You know what is a price war? Reducing prices relative to your competitor. You're trying to undercut your competitor so you can build a bigger market share, isn't it? That's a price war, right? Once I engage in a price war, it needs to compare its cost structure, comma, with those of its competitors. So you begin to realize, listen, I'm just giving you some examples here. You're doing year 2 costing. You're not going to get exam questions in this much detail, right? But I just want you all to think now, yeah? Just think about why we're studying this topic. And again, I keep saying this, yeah? There's nothing we study for the fun of it, all right? You're doing a accounting and business program, yeah? Accounting is business. If you stop and think about it, it's about making decisions with regards to our external environment. And knowing our costs, I think, gives us a very good idea of how best to compete, all right? Companies that don't know what it costs to make and sell their product, meaning they simply make and sell the product, they are setting themselves up for failure, all right? If you simply make a product, you simply try to sell it, you're setting yourself up for failure. Can you understand what I'm trying to get across to you all? All right, okay. So coming back to this part here, all right, product costing methods. We looked at specific order costing, job batch costing. Let's recap what we've done so far. Learning outcome, we want to know what is the cost of a product under different business environment. I will explain under different business environment one by one over here. All right, what do we want? Why do you want to know the cost of product services? Well, cost is necessary for inventory valuation. This is reasons, yeah. Deriving cost necessary for inventory valuation. And as I said, it ties in with financial reporting requirement. Auditors will check to see whether you have valued inventory accurately. They will pay close attention to your inventory valuation process. You follow what I'm saying? Cost is needed to determine the price of a product and to determine the product's profitable. Exactly, yeah. Everybody wants to charge a price above cost, all right? But this too depends on the nature of the industry, all right? How do you price? That's actually a different topic from what we're doing today. It's pricing, yeah? But nevertheless, everybody wants to charge a price that is above cost because that's when you will be profitable. Can you follow? Right? Now, cost is needed to ascertain that the business can be competitive. Yes. Right? Can we actually make a profit? Right? Yeah. Listen. So let's talk about the costing methods now. Right? So what I've done so far is I've explained why we are learning this. And I hope by this simple, short explanation, you've got an idea of why costing, deriving product costs is an important topic. You know, when you go out to work in a company, all right, frequently the managers want to know how much does it cost? Because a lot of decision making will rely on cost. Can you follow? Even even a simple business like a restaurant, you make a dish, right? You put it on the menu, right? Even there, you need to know what does it cost to put everything on that plate. Can you follow what I'm trying to say? All right, yeah. So every business is always thinking about cost, and if you know the cost, it leads to the decision of how to price the product. You follow what I'm saying, right? Okay. Now, job costing. All right, job costing. Product made specifically to customers' order. All right, and one order is equal to 1 unit. Can you follow? One order is equal to 1 unit. So when we talk about job costing is any industry where a product or a service is tailor-made to fit the needs of the user. All right, now whoever that user might be. Yeah, so you specifically create something to fit the needs of one particular person. Do you know what I mean? One particular customer, if you will. All right, that's what job costing is all about. So job costing, I repeat, it's made to order and it's specifically 1 unit. Yeah. Now there are many examples of industries which have job costing. Specialized engineering component. I need a special component to go into a machine. I go to an engineering foundry and I tell them, I give them a plan, look, can you make this for me? All right. So they develop a specific unit of that. Yeah. Specialized engineering component, home renovation is another example of job costing. You want to make a kitchen, you want to expand the kitchen in your house, you want to put a new set of kitchen cabinets, you want to make the kitchen look good, or you want to redo your front of the house, something like that. Yeah, right. This is not contract costing. Yeah, contract costing will be long term. If you're building your whole house from scratch, that's contract costing. But don't worry, contract costing is not in the syllabus, so I won't go there, right? We are talking about job specific. It tends to be short term, can be completed less than a year. It's usually 1 unit, 1 order, all right? And you will quote a price specifically, right? Now watch. When you do job costing, all right, first you will prepare a job cost sheet. All right, let me explain how that works, yeah? When you do a job cost sheet, what you will do, you will take your direct materials, you will take your direct labor, and then you put your variable overheads. All right, and that would be whatever the amount, that will be variable costs. Then you add any factory overheads that you want to allocate. Factory overheads will be absorbed into the product. You either use traditional absorption costing, or you can use activity-based costing, which I'll teach you probably next week. Yeah, we'll find a way to trace overhead costs into the product. And then once you got the factory overhead sorted out, we'll get production overheads. All right, production cost, we'll get production cost. And once you get the production cost, some companies will add non-production overheads, add non-production overheads, you get total cost. All right. Once you got your total cost, then you add your profit markup, you get selling price. Do you get the idea? All right, that's what you're doing, yeah? Now listen, this selling price will be quoted to your client. Remember, all job costing situations, you quote, right? A client will come out and say, hey, client will give it the specification. It could be a diagram, or it could be a verbal idea of what they want, or it even could be a plan, a drawing, something like that. Yeah, right? So the client will tell you that. And whatever business you're in, you will, based on client specification, you come up with a specific order, right? A price. Yeah. Now, then what you do, all right, if the client agrees to the price, well, then you start work. And this is where it gets interesting. Yeah. When you start work, don't forget, this is all budget. Then what you will do, when you start work, you put down the actual costs, right? Now, why do you put on the actual cost? It's very simple. See, once you quote the price to the client, if your actual cost is higher, you cannot go back to the client and say, hey, I actually spent more than what I was planning to spend. All right. So I'm going to charge you a higher price. Well, that's not possible. Do you know what I mean? Because the client's going to say, hey, we agreed on the price. We signed off on the contract. So if you incur more costs, that's your problem, not mine. Get it? That's what the client will say. Do you follow what I'm saying? So the whole process of comparing the budget and the actual is simple. All right. It's just to make sure it's a cost control device. Yeah. We just want to make sure that at every stage we have this. All right. Watch. And then we have factory overhead. We have that. We have that. And we have that. Important. You want the actual cost to be below the total. Can you follow? So if actual cost goes below the total, price same. Excuse me. Price is agreed by contract. And because the price is agreed by contract, cannot revise the price. Price is fixed, yeah? So once you agree the price, and if you can do this, what happens? That goes up. Can you follow? If you can keep your costs below the budget, then your profit will go above the budget. Do you get the idea? That's how the business works, all right? Listen. Any questions before I continue? Job costing, yeah, simple. Now, batch costing is almost the same as job costing, except instead of one unit, we make multiple units. Can you follow? We don't make one unit, but we make multiple units, right? So job costing, you make one. Batch costing, we make many units. So a simple example, yeah. Let's say you want to create a uniform for workers in your factory. Now, because you have many workers, you're not going to have one design. You're not going to make one particular set. You're going to make multiple sets. So you approach a garment manufacturer and tell him, look, I want to make a special uniform for the workers in my factory. All right. So how many uniforms, how many sets do you want? I want 100 sets. So instead of making one, the guy will make 100. Key difference between batch and job costing. All right. Job costing, 1 unit. Batch costing, many units, comma, but limited production run. We're not going to make, listen, important, yeah, batch costing, right? We're not going to make the same unit, same number of units forever. If you make the same number of units continuously forever, then what you're looking at is you're looking at process costing, a different topic altogether. You follow what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. So a classic example of batch costing is printing of newspapers. All right. That's another example, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, newspapers come out every day. Yes. But today's copy, yesterday's copy, not the same. Tomorrow's copy will obviously be different. So when you print newspapers, it's obviously a continuous process.